We on? All right, everybody. Thank you for joining Conversations with Traci. Thank you for being patient with us. We have, as you know, we have to be patient with this technology, so we're doing the best we can. But we just want to thank God for y'all being with us. First of all, I am just so excited. We were trying to roll in a commercial with the mask, I Can't Breathe mask. As you know, especially in the local area, we have protests actually going on that were happening all week, and also one that's going on right now in the city of Chesapeake. They started at the mountain. They're headed down to City Hall on Cedar Road. So we were our mass were going or are going to the partial proceeds of the mass will be going to George Floyd's Foundation and other causes for injustice. So all of you that have supported these masks, we really want to appreciate you because we are want to bring awareness to the racial injustice that has been happening in our country, and we cannot do anything unless we band together with your support. So I just want to say thank you for that. Also, one more thing I want to thank you. Earlier, during COVID-19, on the onset of COVID-19, we were raising money for women who have lost money due to not being able to work. And with your help, we also were able to raise money for several women in business and help them pay bills, their lease agreements. We were able to band together to help them stay in business, keep their rental agreements going. So y'all, thank you for that. We cannot do it without your support. So I really appreciate all that you do. But now, without further ado, we have Miss Gaylene Kanyoton.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. I am so excited to have her here with us. Yeah, well, let me tell y'all this first. Miss Gaylene is in demand. Okay? She is in demand. Now, let me say this too. I'm sure, and if you can attest to this, since the tragic death of George Floyd, it's just everything just took off. I'm sure you can attest to that. However, though, y'all, she's not new to this. She didn't just wake up, unfortunately, with the loss of our dear brother George Floyd. She didn't just wake up and just become an activist. She has been doing this for years. So when we're sleeping and we're enjoying ourselves and going about our days, she's on the grassroots level working for our behalf. So can we see some hand applause emojis in the comment section and just appreciate Miss Gaylene for being on with us. We just really want to appreciate Miss Gaylene. Please. We're so happy to have
Thank
you with us. We're so happy to have you with us. And you're also the Hampton NAACP president.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you
That's my nonprofit side.
on the nonprofit side. So
Mhm.
please tell us more about your social and public services in our local area.
So, as you stated, I was a child of the civil rights, and so
Mm-hmm.
1967, I was there during the 1967 riot, 1968, and so this is like PTSD for many of us that grew up in the civil rights era,
Right.
all over again. And so my social justice and my fight started in the 60s. But all of our fights started 400 years ago when the
Right.
first free and our slaves got off the boat, the slave ship, and they were counted as three-fifths of a human.
Yes.
And then so the foot has been on our neck for over 400 years. So let's get that clear
Come
first.
on.
Till this day, we are still being treated as three-fifths of a human. As you can see, how that police officer sat there on the neck of George Floyd. You see what happened to Armand, how he was just shot and all this in broad daylight.
In
You
broad
saw with
daylight.
Brianna, she was just sleeping in her bed and was like, no knock, no warrant, no knock. And it goes back. It goes back to Rodney King. It even goes back further than that. It goes back to the lynching days.
Yes.
Let's not think this is new, because it's
Yes.
not.
It's not new.
The only thing now is that for the first time, people have seen this in broad daylight, and we have amazing young people. Amazing. They are speaking out all over the world, throughout this country, and all races have come together. As an NAACP president, I can't tell you how many people from across the aisle have reached out to us to ask, how can we help? What can we do? You know,
Yes.
it's almost, I say it's almost like a form of reparation, but it's not reparation. It's about helping, and people. I mean, I've even had white people send me text messages,
Yes.
inbox me on social media, and says, you know, in the last couple years, I am now awake. I am now woke.
Really?
I can see this injustice, and I want to help. I want to speak on behalf of my community at your events. So this didn't just start. I think we're not going to talk about a new normal. We're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about moving forward.
Yes.
And that's what this is about, moving forward. We don't want to be normal. We want to move forward. We want to move ahead and make sure that during this time, and I believe in divine intervention,
Yes.
that we have these two pandemics, and both of them are asymptomatic. And what that means about them being asymptomatic, that people have it and don't know it.
Correct.
You know, so you have your COVID-19 and you got your racism.
Your
so
racial
both
pandemic.
Asymptomatic. Right. So we want to heal both of them.
Yes.
No, we want to heal both of them. And so this is a time where when I talk to people, when I'm on shows, we are in a historic time. I tell my son all the time, this is your time of the Great Depression. It's worse than the Great Depression.
It is.
Okay, first. And so when we come out of this, which is going to be a while, and you look back, and I may not be here because I'm 60, so I may not be here when really it's all
Wait, you
said
what?
and done.
You 60?
Oh,
Where?
but I'm a seasoned millennial.
Okay. I hear you.
But at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, what do you want to be said about you? What did you do to contribute during this time?
Yes.
You don't want to come out of here and just say, I've been sitting on the sofa watching television. You don't want to come out of here and say, okay, I marched or whatever. Yes, you did. You marched. What did you do constructive?
Yes.
You know, did you bring people together? Did you help someone?
And you are moving right, I tell you, Miss Gaylene she done jumped out the gate running, because this is her. You can tell that Miss Gaylene is passionate. And let me tell you what, it woke me. And I considered myself, I guess I was somewhat woke before. And I teach my children and my family. We've had conversations about this stuff prior to this, but this, I think it broke something in all of us that put us on a level of, this has to stop.
It has to stop.
Enough is enough. So with that said, there are people out here who can't protest for health reasons. And there are a lot of people out here who they have anxiety issues with crowds and things like that. What can you tell the average citizen to do to help this movement along? Because we don't want to be another 50 years and this happens again. So help us with that, Ms. Gaylene.
Okay, so as I said, you don't want to come out of this time and not contribute to humanity.
Right.
Contribute to yourself. What did you do within your family? Did you start a new business?
Yes.
Did you bring people together for a cause? But let me just bring it real down to earth. This is about voter registration. Everyone should be going to vote. You can go to vote.org and you can learn how to register to vote. And you can learn about voter registration drives. And everyone should be registering people to vote right now.
Okay, and let me stop you right there. Everybody put in the comment section vote.org. Please, everybody, put that in the comment section, vote.org, because if you're already registered to vote, great. But we need to push this agenda that we will no longer stand for racial inequality in the White House or nobody else's house. So please put in the comment section, vote.org. Share that website so we can get our community out here voting. Please help us some more, Ms. Gaylene.
That's right. And so you have Michelle Obama have When We All Vote. She has an organization too, and her organization, they have house parties. You can mobilize things. So it's a lot out there that we can do. But the biggest thing is, in 2016, had some of us didn't stay home. I mean, some of us stayed home.
Yes, we did.
Stayed home. And had we not stayed home, we would have had a different person in the White House who would not have dismantled Obama's pandemic task team, who would have seen this COVID-19 ahead of time, and we wouldn't be to the degree where we are right now, who would have not taken money away from the CDC. We would not have been in an economic collapse, and we would not see racism at an all-time high in broad daylight with these murders.
Yes.
Somewhere in broad daylight with these murders that is on camera, on social media, and everywhere. We would not have seen that. But you know what? The sheets have come off.
Yes.
And I truly believe the sheets have come off, and I truly believe that our next is going to be great.
Absolutely.
And I believe that this generation, these young folks that's come together, they are going to take us into that next they are going to take us into that next generation. They are going to move us forward. And so we're going to see something totally different. Now, it's still going to be some racism.
Absolutely.
It's going to be some, because you're going to still have some racism, because it's still going to be in families. It was a situation where I know that some high school kids who just graduated, they were caught on social media using a lot of slang words, racial words.
Correct.
And stuff like that, and it starts at home.
Yes.
Now maybe parents don't know about it. Maybe they're saying some things that they didn't know that they were saying it was affecting their children, or maybe their children on their internet, and the parents don't know. I don't know. But I know one thing, that my child will not be saying anything like that. And I raised him up.
Right.
Too. He was raised through the NAACP. He marched, and he's been through a whole lot. But I taught him about social equality and everything like that. But when he become a senior in high school, he would never have said some of the things that's getting ready to be released, that some of these high school students have said. And I'm not only talking about white. You got some on the black side
of
too.
Course. Of course.
But that whole culture has got to stop.
It has got to stop. So with that said, speaking of culture does begin with the home.
Right.
So what can the average home, what organizations, I know a lot of us are in churches, and I'm going to ask a question about that later, but what current organizations are available, especially for women, to get involved in, to push the agenda of racial equality in our country, right here locally? Those of us who live in the Hampton Roads area in the state of Virginia, or even abroad the country, what can you name some organizations that we can sign up for, or if we can help go down to the polls and help people vote? Please help us with that.
So you have your NAACP,
yes,
which you can go to naacp.org. Every city has it. Every city and locality should have a branch. You can go to naacp.org. You can put in your city, and then that will pop up, and you can join. It's only $25 to join.
Okay.
And we have women in the NAACP. That's one of the organizations within the NAACP that every branch should have, and you can work within that organization, NAACP. So you have the Urban League of Hampton Roads, which ulhr.org, and I'll put all this in the chat box too.
Okay.
ulhr.org. You can join that. The Urban League has partnered with and the NAACP have partnered with Centera,
okay,
and have been doing free COVID testing across Hampton Roads. They did a big one in Chesapeake this past Friday. They were in Williamsburg today. They'll be in Hampton on Wednesday, and so that's all on their website, ulhr.org, and they're always looking for volunteers for that too. But you know what? It starts with, just like you and I are talking.
Yes.
It starts with talking, encouraging
yes,
other people to be involved.
Yes.
Are you registered to vote? And not only are you registered to vote, but also if you are registered or you think you're registered, you need to still check to make sure that all the information in the system is correct. Don't wait up until the last minute where it's too late not to do it.
Yes.
Now, so you got the Urban League, you have other organizations that are always looking for partners. I know in Chesapeake you got the Men for Chesapeake organizations and stuff like that. But it's a lot of organizations that across the board that you can get involved in, or you can start your own.
Yes, very
And
good.
and let me tell you, it's just like church. When you got two or more people together,
He is there in the midst.
right? You got two or more people together. You got some advocacy going on. You
And
got some
speaking of
activism
that,
going
that is a great point because I was going to ask you the question. Um, of course, typically in the Black church, we have naturally invited politicians and social activists in our congregations. But do you think there should be like an activist ministry in each Black church that keeps us, like for instance, that's how we met. I met you because you keep the pastors in the local community connected to what is happening in the community. However,
on.
should there be, I know we have health and wellness ministries now, we have marriage ministries, we have youth ministries, but should we have solicit volunteers to keep each church connected to the community by having like an activism ministry?
You have a social justice ministry.
That's good.
You have a social justice ministry. And I think that, one of the things that you have a lot of complaints is that young people are not coming to church.
Yes.
So you have to give them a reason to come to church. And there's two things that I've been advocating for. One is having social justice committee. The other one is to have a climate and environmental justice committee.
That's good.
Because climate and environmental justice, and I have to come back on another show for that one.
Oh, okay.
A whole nother thing that the young people are all in tune to. They are afraid that they won't be here in 20 years,
Wow.
30 years. You have young people committing suicide right now because we're not taking care of the earth. So I believe that if all the church have a climate and environmental justice committee, you'll bring the young people in and they will educate the elders in the church.
That's
About
excellent.
the importance of being able to do that. So those are two things that I think that we need that needs to happen in the church. Now let me just say something else. Everyone needs to go to census2020.gov.
Census2020.gov.
We have to get counted.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something. 10 years ago, the African Americans was the most undercounted.
Wow.
And what does that mean? When you're undercounted, that means you're not going to get the resources that you need. We're in this pandemic. We still don't have all the resources that we need to have. We need to have more resources.
Yes.
So therefore, why is the census good? It determines your SNAP, your Medicaid. It determines your education, the roads that you drive on. It affects everything that you do within your locality. And Big Brother is not going to be watching. So if you're in a public housing and it's only 4 of you all in the household, supposed to be in the household and it's 8, they're not going to come in there and count that, you didn't violate it. That's not the way it works.
Right.
Only takes a couple minutes to take the Census 2020. Only takes a couple minutes to take it. The other thing to it, it also determines our congressional district lines on who represent us.
Yes.
We don't get counted, then that means we could lose representation. So we need to make sure that we do that. Now, the other piece to it is that when we get counted, your locality will get $2,000 per year per person.
$2,000.
That's $20,000 per person.
Now I didn't know that.
Locality.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And so, and one of the other most undercounted are children. Our children. So if you were pregnant and you had a baby on April the 1st,
you put the census 2020.
okay, and you had a baby on April the 1st, then you needed to count that baby on April the 1st.
Yes.
Whoever was sleeping in your household on April the 1st, I don't care if it was a cousin on your pillow or whatever, that person need to be counted.
That's good, Miss Gaylene.
So we need to make sure that we get everyone counted because we already don't have all the resources that we need to have right now. If we get counted and we have another pandemic in 10 more years, we'll have even less. And people need to understand that this affects everything that we do, everything.
Right. So, okay, I know typically these items come in the mail, and habit is I toss it to the side and I don't pay it. And they actually have gotten better. They send you one, you didn't respond. They send you 2, and they might send you a 3rd one. How can maybe at a church level or an organizational level, are we able to make I don't know, is there document we can pass it along to help these people get counted with the census?
So before COVID-19, I had asked the clergy to please have laptops or computers in their churches so for
Yes,
can come
yes,
right away,
online, right.
because you can do it at census2020.gov, or you can census2020.gov, or you can call, or you can mail it in. So right now they'll be leaving materials on your door if you have not gotten counted yet. Come August, end of July, August, they'll actually knock on your door to make sure that you're going to be counted, But I'm just telling everyone, don't wait. They extended it to be a little longer now, but don't wait. Do it now. It only takes about 3 or 4 minutes. It's really simple
It's very
questions.
simple.
They're not getting into your business, but everyone needs to be counted.
And I will vouch for that because I know sometimes when, typically when we're not educated, we look at the paperwork and it feels like it's evasive. And it's not. It is simple information, who's in your household, and basically that's it.
That's it.
And you send it off. You can do it online. They send it in the mail. If you don't want to use that, you can go to census2020.gov, and it literally doesn't even take 5 minutes.
It doesn't even take 5 minutes to do it.
And
But everything that you do,
yes,
and I mean, I don't care if you go to the club.
yes,
Everything that you do, if you don't get counted, then resources will be taken away. So when I say the club, I'm talking about financing for businesses, small
yes.
businesses. I'm talking about education, schools, and I'm talking about programs that help the underserved. Everything that applies to you, the census is there to help. That's why you got to be counted.
Very good. And that brings me. You said something key about businesses in the Black community. Um, as you can see, us coming together is a powerful thing. The amount of change that has happened over 2 weeks because we have come together has been beyond powerful. So I
Hmm.
want you to speak to the Black dollar in the community and how we can keep that dollar circulating beyond the census, but amongst Black businesses about supporting each other and building up our community that way.
You know, it's interesting because now, you have Black businesses, everywhere. But when I was coming up and back in like the 90s and 80s, we had directories. We were able to look at, know where all the Black businesses are. So there's an organization in Hampton Roads. It's called Black Brand. It's the Black
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce. So the Black Brand, they have a directory of Black businesses that's in the area. But the Black dollar is important to keep it within. But we need to support our Black businesses, and the Black businesses need to come out and support the community as well, which they do, especially in the time that we're in right now. Have you noticed by us having to stay at home, we don't need all the stuff,
No.
anymore. I mean, I done threw out things
Yes.
already, save money to do this, that, and the other. So anything that I invest in or I buy now, it's going to be things that I really, really need,
Right.
not the extra stuff anymore. And so we need to look at what we want to invest in. What do we want to, who do we want to support? We need to look at this thing. So let me just fast forward to something else.
Okay.
So when I talked about the census with representation, we have to make sure that we get more younger people and people that are for our cause to run for office.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to talk about registering to vote. We want to mobilize and turn people out in November, because we have got to make a change in November. And then we have local elections that will be coming up. And we want to make sure that we start preparing people to start running for office, young folks to run for office. I had a young guy, Lance Jones, who ran in Hampton, Virginia, and he ran his last election. He was 38 years old.
Wow.
First one under 40 to really run and only was short by 600 votes.
Oh, wow.
That's only because a PAC was organized at the very last minute that created a slate, with the status quo. And so the young people, so now the young people coming together.
Yes.
I love it. They're coming together. So this is about mobilization on so many levels.
Okay.
And so it's all about the power of the dollar. It's the power of your vote, and make sure that you have good representation that represents your values.
Very good. We had a correction. We had people in the comments that said that the website is 2020
Oh, okay,
census.gov.
20census.gov.
Yes,
Thank you.
just for
2020
clarity,
census.
everybody, it's
Yeah.
2020 census.gov.
Gov.
And
Thank
also,
you.
Miss Gaylene, speaking of public office, it's been, some stirring about people asking you, are you going to run for office?
No, I'm that person that likes to support good people to
Okay.
run for office. You always have to have what you call the assist.
Yes.
Make sure they get in, like basketball, make sure they get in the basket, or whatever, and so, you just got to support good people to make sure that they get in there. I know what my role is, and my
Yes.
role is to make sure I'm on the street. I want to make sure that the grassroots get mobilized, and that's what my role is to make sure the right information. And I want to make sure that all the DJs and the entertainers and the
Yes.
hairstylists and the barbers know that they can go and draw unemployment.
Yeah.
They can get the PAU, and they can get up to $600 or
The
$800 a month
EIDL. Yes.
to December the 29th. I
Thank
want them to
you.
be able to know that. I want small businesses to know that they can still get the PPP
Come on.
program, the payment protection program, where they can go, and they have even made it more lax now. I
Yes.
want to make sure. So I do get my text message chain, and I make sure everybody knows that information to make sure, because we're always the last ones to find out.
Very good.
You
And
know.
say that, okay, because I've been pushing this on my personal page as far as the personal pandemic plan, the loans and EIDL loans and all, getting this information about unemployment as an independent contractor that is available to you. And you gave me some new information. It's available up into December. What now?
The unemployment is supposed to go up until with the PAU. I think it's supposed to go all the way up to December. I think it's the 29th. I think that's the date is. It's on the PAU website. I believe it's the 29th. However, if you don't find a job, or even if you went back to work, or your business your business you start picking up business, whatever your business is, but you haven't quite reached what you normally would make.
Yes.
You can partially still get your unemployment, as long as you say that this is what I made this week. And if it doesn't meet all the way, then normally they will come and make the difference, whatever that mathematical program that they put together that you're supposed to get then. Yeah.
That is fantastic news. And, oftentimes my father says this to me all the time. A lot of times we miss information because we don't like to read. And,
Right.
And that is an unfortunate situation. However, you all, there are websites out here. There's people like Miss Gaylene, and the little that I try to do to keep pushing this information, that we have to receive it and grab hold to it. Don't just sit back and just let these opportunities pass you by, because that's exactly why our community has been in the position that it's been in. Because I feel like sometimes we get in the mode of helplessness. But we got to stay in that fight. Get information. If you don't know, ask somebody. Ask for help. Keep pushing. And I even myself in my business, I had to file for the unemployment, and they haven't even had the payouts yet. But guess what? We're still filing. I'm not the only one that has not received unemployment, but we still file until the
Right.
state of
And you
Virginia
get one
pays
lump
out.
sum. You send it to your one lump sum, because I've talked to some folks,
Yeah.
and they've sent it to them in all one lump sum, what they owe them, that's going to go. But you need to apply. You need to take advantage. You can go to the SBA website. You can go, even the IRS website is going to give you information now
Yes.
as well. So that brings me to another thing, because everyone should still be filing their taxes.
Yes.
They have until July 15th, and if you should have filed for an extension or whatever. But everyone should file. I've talked to some young folks that haven't filed their taxes in 2 or 3 years, or 3 years or whatever. They'll come knocking on your door eventually, because all the IRS wants you to do is just file.
Right.
That's what they want you to do, is file. And if you don't know how to do it, they have a lot of free services now.
Yes.
Churches are doing it. I know plenty of cities are doing it. Organizations are providing free services. So everyone should be filing their taxes too.
Absolutely. And if you do not, you won't have the benefit of these programs if you don't file your taxes. That's why it's important that you do, because they will pull your information if your information is, and some people did not even get the stimulus check because they did not file their taxes. So please, y'all, it's important that we have to do our part too. We can't expect to protest and get out here and show our voices and let our voices be heard. And if we're not doing our part, we have to
Right.
do our part by doing right by our taxes, doing
Right.
the census, doing
Hmm.
everything we can do to keep our community counted. Keep
Right.
our community counted. Now, Miss Gaylene, you've recently, I've been contacted by your team.
Hmm.
You are doing the Hampton Roads for Biden
Right.
campaign.
So I'm taking off. Let me make this disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm taking off my nonprofit hat now.
Okay.
So we put that away. I'm putting that
Yes.
away, and now I'm going to put on my political side.
Got you.
On the political side, I'm the first vice chair of the Democratic Party of Virginia for the state.
Okay.
And then I'm also first vice chair for my local one in Hampton as well.
Okay.
And so this evening at 7:30, we're going to have a call, and we'll put that in. Someone can put that in a chat group that they go. You can RSVP ahead of time. And Senator Locke is going to be on. Trey from the Biden campaign, who does African American outreach nationally for him, will be on, and they are going to talk about Joe Biden. I'm already calling him President Biden. Joe Biden.
He already is, because Trump is trailing right now. His numbers are declining.
But let me tell you this. Let me go before I get back to this. But let me say this. Joe Biden is going. They're going to talk about Joe Biden's plan for Black America.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's going to be about 7:30. But so when the polls, whenever you see the polls, and they say that it's ahead or whatever, the only poll that count is getting people polls on November the 3rd.
That's right.
That's the only poll. Don't pay attention. Polls gonna go up and down, all over the place.
Right.
You know, back
Approval
in
ratings,
2016, back in 2016, Hillary was way ahead, and everybody was like, "Yay, she's just gonna win" and whatever. And look what happened. You know, you had all these bots all over online. We had organizations that made it look like it was for Black folks, and it was confusing people and all this kind of stuff. We just need to stay focused on our own agenda and make sure that we register people to vote and mobilize and make sure we turn people out to vote. Now, in Virginia, on July the 1st, there's no excuse absentee ballot. And that means that you no longer have the excuse to send in an absentee ballot.
Wow.
And so you need to know that. And so that's going to be 45 days prior to the election when you can start asking for an absentee ballot. The other thing that you need to know is that you still can go to polls to vote, but you have some elderly folks and some people, they want to go ahead and mail it in. Young people, they want to see their ballot go into the box. Which,
right.
You know, I totally understand.
Yes.
I get that.
Yes.
But we need to take advantage of the absentee ballot, and even the absentee ballots that's postmarked on November the 3rd will still count. We want to get all those in early. We don't want to wait
right.
till November 3rd.
No.
You know, and that goes back to talking about some other new laws that people need to know.
Okay.
On July 1st, also states that you no longer have to show a photo ID when you go to the polls.
Wow.
No longer. And so I'll put a link in the chat box that shows all the new laws that people can pay attention to, that we have, that's going to start on that particular day. But those and the voting rights is absent. Oh, and then we know that Lee Jackson Day, which is the Friday before Martin Luther King's birthday,
okay,
is now no longer Lee Jackson Day. That holiday has been moved to November 3rd, and November 3rd is now a state holiday for voting in Virginia.
No way.
Yes.
That is fabulous news. So people don't have to worry about getting off of work and trying to schedule times. We can just have that day to go vote.
It's a state holiday. Exactly. It's a state holiday. On November the 3rd, all the general elections, now it's going to be a state holiday.
Amazing.
Which is good. Mm-hmm. So amazing. This goes back to we talked about in when people voted in the last state and House, Senate, the Senate and the House delegates, and the Democrats took over the House and delegates.
Yes.
This is why we have gun laws now. We have laws that protect, gun control laws. This is why we have better voting laws. This is, you're going to see more criminal justice reform.
Mm-hmm.
Now you couldn't get TANF before because of the fact if you had a criminal record or drug record, you couldn't get it. That's what it was. Now you can,
Wow.
So things like that. So And then now the Confederate statues are all coming down. That's something
Yes.
too. The
We're
Confederate
seeing that
statues.
all over.
On state property, the governor has ordered them to come down. In the localities, he's allowed the localities to choose. I mean, to make that choice whether they want to come down in the localities. People don't understand. A lot of people, well, not a lot, but some folks don't understand that. They said, well, the Confederate statues is about history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, the Confederate statues came up in the 50s to scare black folks during the Jim Crow era.
Right.
To remind them what the Confederacy was all about, to remind them of slavery. They were not put up back in the 1700s or whatever. They were put up in the 50s.
I didn't know that.
So people need to understand that was put up to scare black folks. And so they all have to come down. And in Hampton, we got the Robert E. Lee School and Jefferson Davis School names changed several years ago.
Yes.
And so we were able to get those two changed. So schools that have Confederate names, I know we have some streets that's been changed or whatever, all have to go. No, it's not the new normal. This is next.
The next. That is fantastic. So going back to the Hampton Roads Biden campaign for women that you have recently done, and I see you all. The conversation is about training for voter registration. So can you explain a little bit about the training aspect?
Right. So we started a Hampton Roads Women for Joe Biden. Hampton Roads Women for Joe Biden is on Facebook that everyone can join. Now I might be changing Hampton Roads for Biden because the men want to come in, and so I'm like, fine, yeah, they can join women or whatever. But they can change the name. We're good. We don't discriminate. Anybody can hop in and join. Mm-hmm. Anybody can hop in and join. This page is about mobilization. Yes. It's about education and mobilization and advocacy. And we want to make sure that people know what Joe Biden is doing. We want to make sure that we keep everybody up to date, and then things that they can do. And so there's a training on there. I have a link. The first post on there is a link that you can click on, and it shows you it's a 5-minute test that you can take. And then you'll get certified to actually do voter registration drives, and it'll teach you things that you didn't even know that you could do. So it tells you everything you need to do. So we're asking everyone to get certified and register people to vote. You don't have to have a paper to have people fill out the paper. They can do it right on their phones. There's a link, and you can register online. You can go out. So when you have these marches and whatever event, you can go to your registrar's office and you can get paper voter registration forms, or you can have a laptop, or you can have a phone, give out a link. You can register people wherever you are, and that's what we need to be doing.
Absolutely. Ms. Gaylene, you have been phenomenal. And I know you have to run, and I don't want to belabor your time because I know you have to prepare for your next meeting, but I do. You have been you have helped us tremendously. Is there anything else you feel like you want to share that that we may need to know concerning preparing ourselves and getting our minds geared on the next?
Right. Stay woke. Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Make sure that everything that you read and you post comes from a reliable source.
Good.
On social media. Don't get anything that come out off the back, from a blog or whatever. Make sure it comes from a reliable source, the information that you get. Because right now we are in a world of social media, and so you're going to see all kinds of things. When you post something, everyone has an opinion, and I get that.
Yes.
But make sure you derive your facts from facts.
Very good.
So Google is your best friend, but make sure that whatever you Google, you get it from facts. Make sure that you stay upbeat and look and check on your friends, check on your family, pick up that phone, and people want to do something, and it starts with you.
Yes.
Advocacy starts with you. Get to know who your legislators are, get to know who your council
people educate
are.
Yourself. And if you don't know, and this is actually, I didn't know everybody that was on the Chesapeake political team, and I just Googled.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Google who these people who are running, Google the people that's running for office. We don't know everything, and sometimes there is not a budget for flyers to go to every household in your city. But please look this stuff up because we have another generation after us that we're putting things in place now so they can have better opportunities. We cannot afford to be lazy. I think that's the bottom line that Miss Gaylene is preaching to us. We got to be empowered. Do what you can do. Go on these websites. We have too many things at our fingertips, y'all, available to us that we can't be lazy about. We got to get this information. And if you don't understand, once again, we have delegates that we can just email.
You can pick up the phone and email them, and
Yes.
you also need to attend or watch online your city council meetings, your
Yes.
school board meetings.
Yes.
Two are important. You need to know what's going on in your city and your school board meetings. Those are two things you need to know. Now, let me just say one thing, and this is really important. If you don't have good health, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I know people have maybe lost their jobs or they got downsized or whatever the case might be. And so you'll have 60 days to go on to healthcare.gov to go into the affordable care.
Wow.
Okay? So you have 60 days to go to healthcare.gov to go into the affordable care. But if you make under a certain amount of money, which is 17,000 and some change or whatever, we have expanded Medicaid in Virginia.
Wow.
You don't have to have a job.
Wow.
You don't have to. So if you don't make enough to go to, you don't make enough to get into the affordable care, you can go to coverva.org. coverva.org, and you can apply for Medicaid. Before, it was hard because I started a company, Celebrate Healthcare, because I wanted to get people educated and get them enrolled into Obamacare.
Yes.
Churches, and I had it at churches and various and community centers so people can walk down. So today we probably enrolled about 20,000 people.
Wow.
And across. But I did that for those who fell into the gap, who didn't make enough to go into affordable care, but also made too much to get on Medicaid. And I was able to explain to them why it was important to vote. They needed to know who their delegates and senators were. They need to call them up and turn out and vote. And they turned out and voted in this past election. I mean, in this election, 2017, they turned out, and then they were able to, the last election, they were able to not only flip this the House and Senate, and that's not 2017. I'm sorry, I'm going back. I'm dating myself now.
That's okay.
They were able to turn the House and Senate over, and Medicaid got expanded.
Wow.
Power of the vote.
The vote.
Medicaid got expanded.
The power of the vote.
Important.
Yes.
So important. So with this election, we just had this past election, and people turned out to vote. We need to continue on turning out to vote to make a difference. 2016, we woke up the next day after the election and we were like, oh my
devastated.
God. 2017, we voted in a Democratic executive office, and so we started trying making some change.
Yes.
The last Senate and House election that we had, we were able to flip the House and Senate.
Yes.
And so we got Medicaid. And then when we did the 2017, 2 years ago, we was able to get Medicaid expanded and signed. We was able to flip the House and Senate. We got more Dems elected. And then in the last election, we got more Dems elected in the House and Senate. And then we got these new voting laws and some more things or whatever. So you vote for people what your values are. I'm not telling everybody they got to vote Democrat.
Right.
I'm just saying learn who the candidates are.
Right.
Look what your values are. And then you need to go determine who you're going to vote for.
And the bottom line is just vote. Your voice counts. Like you said, no one's turning your arm up trying to make you vote our way or what we believe. Your voice matters, or whatever you believe. That's basically what we're saying. Vote. The power of the vote is so important. So important. And I just want to share with our audience tonight that, we are still in COVID-19. However, there are education mechanisms for our children to learn the importance of voting and educating them on our governing system, our law system. And I think we need to use our time wisely while our kids are home to educate our children with this very same conversation. Pull them when you go to the voter places. Bring your children. Let them see what it is to vote. Take them along. Talk to them. They have questions. You pull up the Google website, honey. This is what you do. This is how we educate ourselves on what's happening right here in our local government. And let me say this: it starts at our local government.
That's right.
We don't just. I mean, of course, we are concerned about our president. But it starts at our local government. If you just wait to vote every time we voting for a new president, we way behind, way behind. So please, as Ms. Gaylene has helped us, please vote in your local elections. It is important that we in our local cities have an impact, and we need to have our voices heard. Thank you so much, Ms. Gaylene.
Get more local and get more young people need to step up and run for office.
Yes.
We need their voices. We need to move forward. We want more. In Hampton, I know we want more younger people to stay here. My son has a fellowship in Richmond. He's 22. I want him to eventually come back here.
Right.
So we want our young people to start building up our city so we can become young and not be a Mayberry RFD or something like that.
Absolutely.
We want to come back and build up our city. So it's all about civic engagement and just knowing what's going on so we can educate each other. And I thank you very much for having me on. This was great.
Yes, thank you for being on. And just quickly, do we have any quick questions in the comment sections? If you want to ask Ms. Gaylene something in particular, we're going to hold on for a few minutes because she does have to go to her next appointment, be prepared for her next appointment. One more time, Ms. Gaylene, while people may be typing in their questions, give us the link again for your next, your 7:30 appointment.
Actually, I'm going to let me put it.
Okay.
Let me put it on here. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get it off here so I can
go over there.
Hold on one second.
At 7:30.
Yeah, but 7:30. Let me put it here. Hold on. I'll put it in the
Okay, and while she's doing that, I just want to thank everybody who has joined us. And I know we had to switch the time, and I was determined that I was going to get Ms. Gaylene on because I feel like we need to know the tools and we need to have the information, even right here in our local area, of what to do, because sometimes we just don't know what to do. And her voice has been impactful here in the 757 area. I know over the years, like I said, we've met, Pastor Allen and myself have met her through her connections of bringing the pastors together to understand what's happening in their community. So she has been doing this how many years, Ms. Gaylene?
Oh, God, I was going to say maybe it says, oh, God, a long time. This is a long time. I just, I grew up, I'm from Detroit, so I grew up through advocacy. And you can help but doing it. I was a political science major in college at Hampton Institute, which is a university now. So I've been in it for a long time. But everyone has a voice. You got to learn to find your voice.
Yes.
I found my voice. I found my voice probably maybe when I was in my 30s. But everyone has a voice. When you find your voice, use it.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Gaylene. I could talk to you for all night because you are wonderful. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you for being at the grassroots levels, even when we take it for granted. I appreciate you. And y'all, let's make a difference. Let's let our voice count because look, you can tell right now that we are no longer going to be asleep. We're going to stay woke.
Stay woke. That's right.
Thank y'all so much. And if you have any additional questions just for her, you can go to her page directly, and her team or herself will be able to be in contact with you, or you can go over there to Hampton Roads for Joe Biden, and you can join or ask to be invited. And matter of fact, I will go into the comments and invite each one of you, if I have not invited you already, to be a part, because we're going to make a change in our country. I love you all.
And I also have another page, Celebrate Healthcare.
Yes.
I have that on Celebrate Healthcare on Facebook too. That keeps us updated on the COVID. And
Oh, good.
Hampton Roads COVID-19 sharing is another one. So I kind of have different sources to keep people updated of
I
what's
don't
going
know how you do it all, but we thank you that you do it all.
on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have
Yes,
a
y'all show some hearts for Miss Gaylene. We want to appreciate her, and let's go support her over there at her next appointment at 7:30. We're going to be there listening and learning. So I love you. Thank you for joining the conversation with Traci, and we'll see you next week with Josh Anderson. He is an African American financial advisor. He's going to help us stay informed about our finances and how to be good stewards, but make our dollar count for generations to come. That's next week at 7 o'clock, right here with Conversations with Traci. Thank y'all so much. Love you, Miss Gaylene. Until
darling.
next
Love you,
time.
honey. Okay,
Good night,
bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.